Now, the technology topic this time is kind of what rule of thumb to use for social media, how to kind of trick your way into getting social media presence, and some of the basic tools that you can use to help optimize your time. There's a handful of different platforms that you've kind of got to be on. So each market kind of has a different personality. So for real estate, Facebook is very strong. There's a lot of Facebook groups and different, being able to host your pages and interact with the community, I think is a little bit more convenient. Instagram is also very popular. It's harder to group with like-minded people, but for image sharing, if you're sharing pictures of your flips and stuff like that, it's a great platform, kind of a great way to show your stuff and your progress. LinkedIn, if you're for technology, providing services for investors, more business to business type things. LinkedIn, the business pages, is a good avenue to generate traffic there. I bring up Google Business just because if you're trying to create a good SEO presence, people will go into maps, and if they search for terms based on what your business does and you have a listing there, it will show local businesses and kind of help boost your SEO without having to have high search results. So it has ways that you can post events. You can do posts kind of like on Facebook. It's not as convenient or organized as well, but once you get your profile set up, it's a great place to get more traffic to your website or business. You should always have some sort of mail campaign engine. MailChimp is very popular. Most CRMs have some embedded. I know Zoho does, and Salesforce. So all of these kind of give you avenues that once you have a base of interested parties that you can, advertise your service or try and get more traffic to your site. It's not as social media friendly, but if you create images, you can kind of reuse those in different areas. YouTube is probably a younger generation thing. Me personally, I still go to Google first, but some people go to YouTube first. They do searches, and if you have video kind of showing or explaining things that are related to the content that they're searching for, it is a different avenue that may get you traffic back to your site. Twitter is another good platform. I don't think it is quite as good as a marketing platform, but if you're in for communicating and interacting with a bigger audience, it's good for real estate investors. But I do see people on there and kind of the influencers, so it's a good way to connect with them. Some of the basics, and these kind of lead into the technology part, is kind of what I want to point to, but just to kind of establish a baseline, I thought it would be good to just kind of lay out some basic stuff that I've come across either in books that I've read. If you attended the Instagram webinar that we had with Real Estate IQ, this kind of echoes some of that. And I actually found that webinar very informative. So if you have a chance to go back to watch it, it kind of applies. It's for Instagram, but it applies to everything. But to help grow your presence, you have to make a plan and then be able to measure it and kind of set some goals. And if you're not meeting your goals, you need to kind of fine-tune different things and make a plan to tweak and then measure again and kind of keep doing the iteration. As you get started, you'll find that one platform works better than the other one. So for my consulting and software stuff, Facebook has been the best. LinkedIn is number 2, and then Twitter and Instagram kind of hover at number 3. So I put a lot more effort in Facebook and LinkedIn just because of time limitations. That kind of brings up the next point, is understanding your audience. Figure out, you can, with the different tools on the different platforms, Facebook will let you look at the demographics. People that have their interests listed will get kind of grouped into a bucket, and you can figure out what generates the best traffic. So as you create those ads, it's good to learn these things so that you can target an audience that will get you the most return. What I mean by that is getting a better click per dollar amount and also the impressions per dollar. So these are two ways that you can get the most bang for your buck. If you choose too wide of an audience, then you may spend more than you won't optimally spend your money. So track and refine your performance, I've already kind of mentioned, and it's a good idea. You want to keep an eye on how things are going. If you start seeing things kind of die off, you may be losing return people. So it's always good to keep these in mind. What should you be doing? So summarizing different platforms and people's tips. This is my rule of thumb that I go to. And more than this is icing on the cake, but the social media becomes very time consuming. And it's kind of hard because you have to set a limit with how much you spend on it. Otherwise it can just suck your day away. So at least one post per day. You want to try and stay in front of your audience. Never hurts to post more, but you don't want people to forget about you. All the platforms kind of add a way to have more like a fleet. It's something that doesn't permanently stay on your profile. It's a little bit more personable. It could be a video, it could be something that you're working on. So post at least one of those a day. I admit I am kind of bad about posting those. Utilize videos. Videos are a lot better at generating traffic than just posts and pictures and status updates. Getting a little bit of interaction with your audience without having to interact with them. You want a little bit of polish on it, but if it's like on a business page, your personal profile, you'll see it kind of all over the place on that. So I can't speak to how effective all of the different ones are, but I know that it does generate more traffic. You want to stick with creating content that brings traffic to your website. Sometimes you'll see things where businesses posting political stuff. While that does bring traffic, it can also push away things. So if you stay to your target audience, kind of keep that in mind, that you want to cover everyone. You don't want to exclude people because you could be excluding business. And again, just to want to reinforce, stay consistent, set benchmarks, and adapt. Do something, measure it, and fix it. So you keep wanting to fine tune and perfect your art. And this applies to everything in business and kind of the entrepreneurship thing. Kind of a survey of different platforms. I use Hootsuite. I did do demos with the Microsoft product, and which I'll go into a little bit later. And then I do use the Facebook business a lot too, just because sometimes you just have to kind of bounce around. But the reason I'm suggesting Hootsuite is you can link multiple accounts together. The free plan lets you do 3. So far this has been very effective for me, and I've picked the best 3 platforms. As you create posts, you can schedule them. For me, it's better if I batch up my post all in one sitting. That way you don't have to deal with context switches. You can do it on the weekend, have it done, and during the week it just automatically posts these things. So to me, that's a very important feature. The analytics is pretty good. You don't get as much as if you have a paid account, but it's still very effective at consolidating all of the different platforms you have managed by it, so that you can get it saves you time having to dig into the different platforms for analytics. Twitter is a little bit messier to get into. I think it's a little bit hidden. Facebook is probably the best out of the different platforms. And then you can also manage your business page, business Google page and LinkedIn profiles and stuff like that. So saves you time. You get bang for your buck by posting in multiple places at once. So definitely something to look for. Business manager. So if you're mostly on Instagram and Facebook, Hootsuite may be overkill. You'll kind of see pop-ups if you have a business page to go to this. This also lets you manage your posts across your Instagram and Facebook. You can schedule posts and then also track your Facebook ads. This platform also lets you add in people to manage your account. So if you need to get help or you don't want to deal with it, it's kind of pre-baked in here. Hootsuite That's one of their price points, is that you can have one user for free, but then if you need to add people to manage your account, you'll have to start paying for it. So depending on how you scale, Facebook may be good to get you started, and then moving on to something else is maybe a next step. Finally, Microsoft Digital Marketing Center. This platform is still in beta, and I'm most excited for this just because it's free, lets you connect multiple accounts, and it is focused around building efficient ad campaigns. So it uses AI to help build models for your ads, and then it kind of will suggest tweaks that may help you improve your spending on your ads. So like the other platforms, you can create posts and schedule it, and they will work across multiple platforms. So all three platforms will help you create posts that will comply with the post limit. So it'll never let you have too many characters or post things that aren't suited for the platform. It'll warn you, and then you can either choose to post or not. This integrates with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. LinkedIn is still kind of in beta. It hasn't been too good. I kind of come back and forth on this one. And then again, the analytics part, it integrates your analytics, and then it uses the ad campaigns to help build your audience and get the most for your money. Let me see if I can log into Hootsuite, and I'll give you a quick preview of that. So I'm not affiliated or anything. I just happen to like the platform, and it saves so much time. Okay, so here's what the dashboard looks like. Here you can see kind of the different timelines next to each other to make sure that your posts went out. You can interact with people as they come in and talk to you on here. The analytics, so basically it gives you a consolidated summary of all of your performance. LinkedIn tracking, so this lets you see how your posts look on LinkedIn, so you don't have to go to the platform. So when you create a new post, you can select which accounts to post to. So I only have 3, but at that point, if you have more, you can connect them. This lets you select your files to drop and would be included on your post. And then this feature is what I like the most, is a schedule for later. So you can choose the date, set the time, and it's done. So I haven't run into issues with scheduling too much, but you are limited to only being able to do a week at a time with the free one. If you do a paid plan, you get a little bit more flexibility. So I think that's all I have to cover for today. So I did include survey link on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So if you go there, fill that out, you can choose a freebie, and we'll try and get that to you in the next couple days.